can rename that later. One bug that I found with this actually really awesome Zoom integration with YouTube, where you can just live stream straight from Zoom to your YouTube account, is that like once I created a description for a live event, and now it seems to add that description to all, yeah. So right now it says, jump into Spinnaker contribution with this workshop from Armory engineer Fernando Freer, which is an awesome workshop, but doesn't happen to be the description of this. You don't care. All right, we are now streaming live on YouTube, and I am super excited to announce that our hackathon has concluded for now. I posted some stuff in the Gardening General channel today about my process for counting GitHub events, because I've gotten a lot of questions about that, which makes sense. So I wanted to be transparent about how I'm counting those and what the timeline is. TLDR, I can't do TLDRs because I talk a lot. So TDR, no, don't try to do that. Okay, I will tell you that all of your contributions that you've made this week should definitely be aggregated and counted in the data set that I'm querying by Friday at like 10 p.m. So check it Saturday morning or whatever your time is. And when I say Friday, I mean the 24th of July. And that's in Pacific time, 10 p.m. I've noticed that the data rolls in around then. So I'll run the query again and update the sheet. And then if you have any qualms about your GitHub contributions, or I didn't count your repo or whatever, just ping me between then and Monday noon, earlier the better, because then we can work through any issues and update you. All right. Oh, my audio keeps cutting in and out. Is it because of this? Is that better? Just gonna make it sound super disgusting for you. Okay. All right. Okay, now I would love to let someone else talk. So I can, how do I see everybody? Let's see. This is me on matcha after a while of not being on anything. No one cares, Rosalind. How do you make this bigger? Okay, I don't know how to use Zoom, and it doesn't matter. So who wants to demo first? I can call on people, but if you would like to demo first, and you want to pop your team name and or you don't have to be a team, but you can say you want to demo in the chat. Let's start with you. So who wants to demo now? No one? No one? You don't want me to demo, so I can start demoing what I've done this week, which is barely anything. But I did create a repository, a better version of the gardening repository that includes a projects list that I'm really excited about. So I can show that to you really quick, and folks get ready. But I'm going to start calling on people. Where is the well, okay, what about Chini? Since you're in the lead, Chini, I can pick on you. Do you want to demo the work that you did with the Spin CLI?
Sure.
All right, go ahead. And so
I'm sure it's going to go great.
What?
I didn't prepare for this, so I'm sure a live demo is going to go great. But
oh, yeah,
I'll go for it.
Yeah, go for it. And let me I think I have to make you a co-host to let you share your screen. Probably. Okay, I just made you a co-host, so go ahead and share your screen. And yeah.
All right. So.
And folks, I'm going to interrupt because I'm an interrupter. Showing your code or showing what you worked on, even if it's not working or it's not finished, is totally okay for this demo. This is a collaborative community demo, and it's not about the finish, it's about the journey. Go.
So basically, I added to the Spin CLI the ability to make projects programmatically. You can list all of the projects, and then I think what probably makes more sense is how to make projects programmatically. So that is the file. And so that'll take a while to load, but I also put in a PR that got merged to like fix the overlapping here that happens when you have a lot of applications in your clusters. But yeah, so the JSON file lists all of the applications in the project and the pipelines. And if you're used to the JSONet library or Spin, I added in the pipeline, or sorry, project.libsone that you can use to create the JSON file for this. At my company, I have an external tool that like parses all of our applications and makes all of this, but that's kind of the gist of it. Also completed, like rounded out the feature to be able to delete projects and get a single project, get the pipelines for a project, and that's it basically.
Woo, woo. What questions do you have for Chini?
What was the hardest part to implement in this task? Like, what the difficulties did you had to make this?
I guess for me, like I added in one test for the project. It was pretty simple, and I wouldn't consider it like a robust test because you need to know exactly what's coming from the gate. So I was always looking for developer tools to like look at the JSON and like making sure that matched in order for the project to update correctly. And so I was talking with other people on how to fix the testing framework to get the most up-to-date like config objects out of gate instead of making like JSON strings that I was like manually checking back to see, is this how the gate like sends the data, when that can be fully done better. So I think those are like kind of next steps, because that was like my personal hurdle, that if someone wasn't very familiar with this already, it might be a little hard to know what like the project config should look like. But yeah.
What other questions do you have for Chini? Great question, Augustus. I have one, but I'm going to wait. Does it look like I'm frozen? I was trying to have a frozen face. Where do you want to extend this in the future, and where are you looking for other contributors who might be watching live or on YouTube to jump in?
Yeah. So like a lot of things with the Spin CLI that I think could be extended. Right now, the way it does auth is a little limited, and also that code itself is all kind of stuck in one file instead of well separated in a way that I think could be better, and then extend to different kinds of auth mechanisms, like SAML or different providers like Okta. And like the testing framework itself, like it's not an easy overhaul, because it does involve changing all the other commands, but I think it'd be worthwhile, because you'll always know that you're testing against like the latest gate. And so now I think there's room for error. And that sometimes some things do get, like right now, like 117 of Spin CLI had something pushed that broke OAuth, kind of broke OAuth a little bit. It required needing to know like what to change in your own config to get Spin CLI working again. So yeah, just so it's some better documentation, some more feature completeness around how to use it with auth mechanisms and a better testing framework, I think would be like my 3 highlights there.
Awesome. 3 highlights. Okay, and then one more quick question. If you were going to work on something else in Spinnaker besides the Spin CLI, where would you set your sights next?
Probably with Cloud Driver and going and maybe using like a Vault sidecar. What I think is lacking, at least for my company, is a standard way for applications to interact with Vault. So people end up doing odd things. Some like connect directly to Vault, and that's when I would like to see it all like go in a standard way through an init container and do a standard secure process. And that has had its challenges. And so probably, something getting in more into like some of those microservices with Cloud Driver, and because I haven't in this particular hackathon, I didn't get very involved in some of the plugin stuff, which I would like to do in the future.
Awesome. Okay, great answers. Thank you so much for joining and for talking to us and answering all of that. Very excited to have you in the community, and warm welcome from everyone. And actually, on that note, I wanted to take a quick moment to say hi to Rob Zener, who I believe is on the call. You don't have to answer, Rob, if you don't want to, but if you want to, you could say hi to everyone. Rob Zener of Netflix is on the Technical Oversight Committee and has joined us today for the demo. Okay, and then how do I undo it? And I want to know, Ige, if you're on the call, are you ready to demo? Or if anyone else would like to go next, post in the chat, or you can try the hand raising thing and someone will probably tell me that you're raising your hand, if I don't see it. Okay, withdraw co-host. And then now I'm back on participants. No. So, okay, I see we have Victor on the call. So Victor's joined and he's part of Ige's team. Are we getting close to, to a demo of the Microsoft Teams notifications plugin? Because that'd be cool to see.
Okay, hi everyone.
I'll make you a co-host if you're going to be the one demoing.
Okay, so myself and Victor will be demoing. I'll be doing introduction while Victor will be doing, will be showing us the UI and what we've done so far with the code. Okay, so Victor just joined. I think we just need like 2. Okay, I can start. You will need 2 minutes to just set up a system and.
Yeah, and I saw Victor was on and then he dropped off. So as soon as he comes back on, I'll make him. Oh no, there he is. There he is. Sorry.
Yeah,
Victor.
I'm there. Hello everyone.
Okay. Yeah,
all right.
Hi.
You're both co-hosts. Go. Floor is yours.
Okay. Hi everyone. Good day. It was a very interesting event, and we had a couple of apps from the community. So what we worked on is integrating Microsoft Teams with Spinnaker. So for me, this was actually my first time on working with plugins with Spinnaker. So Victor has been doing a couple of things with plugins. So we both worked on the project, collaborated. We did more of pair programming. So we had issues along the line, spoke with the engineer on call, and also spoke with the plugins engineers. So we had helps. It was quite interesting, and we learned 1 or 2 things from what we've done so far. And we had fun in the process. For me, I'm happy because we're able to add value, and we did something simple, and also we saw it to the end. So Victor will be doing a demo of her short. Victor will be doing a short demo. Hi, Victor.
Hi guys, so I'm Victor, and I and Talks work together on this MS Teams plugin. So I'm happy that we're able to get together, and that is largely in part due to the contributions that Ryan and Daniel were able to help with, especially because due to the number of hopes we ran into. So I'm happy that we had people with such expertise to help with those. So I'll try to share my screen. Yeah. So we have hooked up the plugin with Deck, and you can basically just after applying the plugin, you can basically come to the notifications part here and try to add notifications for Microsoft Teams. It's that. So what all is required is just the URL path for the Teams notification endpoints. So usually, if you were to say you want to pick up a notification, a Teams endpoint for notifications, you probably have something like outlook.com /webhooks / maybe hexx or something like that. So the path that is required there is just the path here, because we have that Outlook etc at the end here. So this is the code really. We just so the plugin is based on the notifications, HTTP notifications that was shared by people at Hamri for as like a baseline for echo notifications. So I'm really happy that they were able to share that, and their help was so important in getting this ready. So I've already set up this pipeline. I'll try to trigger it, and Talks will share a screenshot of notification it gets from this.
Not sure. Not sure.
So we have the plugin configuration, pretty much the way you'd have the plugin configured if you were to be doing plugin development and you want to use a plugin. So we have the repositories, the plugin key itself, and then the version that we're using. Then this is the Outlook / Microsoft Teams endpoint for usually most events, including webhooks. Yeah. Then this is the deck configuration to enable the plugin, the notification plugin. Yeah. So I think that's mostly it. And I think one of the key reasons that we're able to get this far is basically because we had like a framework to base our work on, and I have the guys at Hammer to thank for this. Thank you, guys.
Woo woo! All right, what questions do you have for Victor and Ige for this team?
Hi. Can you hear me? Yeah.
Yes, we can hear you.
Great. Good job, guys. I mean, Teams is used by a lot of companies. Just one question, because Teams has the ability to do templating on the notifications. So maybe, do you have, it's in the feature plan to add like templating to the notifications sent to Teams?
Okay, so if I got your question right, I think your question had to do with Teams having support for templating for messages.
Correct, yeah, custom messages, custom
templating. So currently, we are still in the process of refining the way we present the Teams messages, because at the moment it's just like just realizing the events we get from the generic echo events we get. So we're still in the process of trying to refine that. But I think that's something that will be interesting, that you can open as an issue. In fact, you could also send the PR and we could work on it together.
That sounds good. Thank you.
Thank you.
That's a nice invitation. What other questions do we have? Victor and Ige, I can ask you some of the same questions that I asked Chini. What was the most challenging part of working on this, or what were some of the challenges? And maybe you already referred to them and you can just reference them back. But
okay, I'll try to say some of my challenges I had. Then then Tokes will also say some of his, because we have slightly different experience levels with this. So I think the most challenging part of this was working with the Heco API. The API for notifications was it's quite early, and should I say how far? Or quite new, let me use new. New is the word. So the endpoint we wanted to use was not in the stable Spinnaker release, so we had to like try to get help from Daniel. So he was able to help with that.
gotcha.
Well, listen. IP, hello.
Oh, hi. Are you
Abdul.
asking a question, or are you jumping in for your demo, AbdulBasit? But before you go for your demo, I have one more question for the last demoers, and I just wanted to ask them what and really this is an individual question, but Ige, you can go first. What are you most excited about? Like what do you want to move? What do you want to turn your attention to next, or what are your goals for Spinnaker contribution?
Oh, okay. Like, so I was so excited about the event, and also the welcoming, like the way the teams were able to welcome us, and also in terms of contribution, when we had issues, we had people to support us. That's very good for us, because we ran into a couple of roadblocks, and easily people were able to help us. Then also the documentation was very helpful. We went through the documentation, and I think for that it is very nice. So for next steps, so we'll try to finish up with the plugins. The UI is still not very nice enough, but it's okay. And I plan to write more plugins in Spinnaker and do more interesting things, and also contribute to the community.
Awesome.
Then also work with the projects we're working on and other interesting things.
Oh yeah, we are. So Ige and I are going to co-found a work on the charter right now of a contributor experience SIG, and Ige is working on design docs for a contribution gamification app that we would like to contribute to the Continuous Delivery Foundation once we build it. So super excited about that. And for anyone who wants to join in that project, once we get our SIG official, we'll create a SIG channel in Slack. But in the meantime, if you want to chat about it, you can DM either one of us and we can talk about it.
Okay, sorry. Okay. So before then, like my laptop the battery got drained, and I think Victor has already tried to send a lot of requests. I'll be sharing my screen so I can show you the notifications.
Oh, okay, cool. Yeah. Do you need? I think you have co-host. Oh no, you don't have co-host. Sorry. Go ahead.
I think
sorry
I
about
do.
that.
Yeah, I do.
You should be able to share your screen now. Okay.
Yes.
Cool.
So these are the entries from Victor. So it's a JSON request. We'll take our time to come up with a beautiful UI. So this request came in around in Dubai time, 11:22 p.m.
I want to talk about.
Then these are okay. Then these are the other requests as well. That when we're testing, we try to make all these requests just to ensure that the plugin is working very well. Yeah. So we created a webhook in Microsoft Teams, and we now use the webhook. So that webhook that was created was what was used in the UI, and and it's available over the internet. So Victor can fire a call from wherever he is, then it would appear here. Okay, thank you.
Any additional questions?
I just want to thank this team for putting so much hard work into this. And I know it's the hours were not great for us to always be collaborating at the same time. I know Ige is based in Dubai, and Victor, I'm not sure what city you're in, but I think it's quite late for you as well. But thank you all for for working with us on this.
Yeah, and it sounds like there's a front end. There's an opportunity for a front end engineer to. Are you looking for a front end engineer to contribute to this, EK, or are you going to do the front end?
No, okay. So we have a front end engineer in our team. He was also involved in doing a couple of things. Just because we didn't finish the work on time because of the issues we had, so he was unable to do his own part. But now that we are done, he can start working on the UI and UX part.
Cool, cool. And that, now that's ringing a bell. Awesome. All right. If you're on the call and you're not speaking and you're not muted, please mute.
Okay.
And yeah. I mean, if you have something to say, like just say it. You can unmute and say it. I just mean if you don't have something to say, then please mute.
No, it's okay. Thank you.
All right. So I think we have someone next in line for demoing. I think AbdulBasit would like to do a demo. Is that right? This is AbdulBasit Kabir from Nigeria, and I'm going to make him a co-host now. Hopefully he's ready. Pinged me to ask to do a demo, so we'll give him a second.
Hopefully he's ready.
Oh, ready.
I'm also hoping he's ready.
Yeah.
So it's actually I and Christos. So I think he should go first, and I'll jump in where there's need. Or what do you say, Christos?
For sure, I wasn't prepared to do demo, but yeah, we can do it like this.
Oh, I can go ahead and you jump in. Anyone's fine.
Yeah, so okay. I just yeah, go ahead with the plan and stuff. Maybe I can present the solution later.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So the reason why I wanted you to go ahead was because like the main idea behind what we did or what we're doing came from you, and so the idea is this: how can we set up an end-to-end SDLC, supply life cycle, yes, pipeline with Spinnaker, then document it and have it easily have it in a GitHub repo, so that in case for a demo or you just want to get something off the ground, you have the repo to pull and the demos to view, documentation, and also some videos. Unfortunately, we didn't go that far, but at least due to all the work that Christos has put in, we have at least a report to show. So I think over to you.
All right. Yeah. So 1 second to present my screen. Okay. Yeah, basically what we wanted is, because we are personally, I'm very new to the Spinnaker, and I wanted to have a, for the community, for Abdul, for me, training environment. So what we did, the idea was to integrate Jenkins with Spinnaker and also add monitoring to the mix, and have Jenkins do the build, push the Docker image, and then Spinnaker to deploy, maybe with Canary and using the Prometheus cluster. So what we have done, if I can find, yeah. Okay, so this is our demo, let's say, Jenkins here. Jenkins building a demo application, which is now deployed in our cluster. Okay, the demo application actually has metrics for Prometheus to scrape. If I go forward. Okay. The demo application is just an API doing random errors and hello. Okay, and has metrics, which actually what we wanted is for the Canary deployment to monitor the 500 codes and maybe tail the deployment, roll back the deployment if we have a lot of 500 codes. This is actually monitored by Prometheus. So sorry for that. Okay, yeah, so this is monitored by the Prometheus here. So we can have our, let's say, metrics over here. And actually we deployed the Spinnaker with the open source operator. We didn't reach to the point to have anything on Spinnaker because the challenge here is to both work and participate to such events. We didn't have the time, but yeah, that's it. As Abdul said, our goal was to have an intro newbie, let's say, repo for the community.
What questions do you have for AbdulBasit and Christos?
It's so intro, this stuff, that's why.
It's okay. Yeah, it's okay. So, well, Christos, what's next for you in the Spinnaker universe? Where do you really see yourself fitting in the future and being able to contribute more? What problems are you excited to solve? And Abdul, I'm going to ask you the same question, so be ready.
Okay, so Spinnaker is in my radar for so many months, maybe years in my current role. So I wanted to wrap up my knowledge, and what perfect way to do this by actually getting involved in the open source community. So for me, it's actually get hands-on experience and use it in real environment, production use.
So you really like sharing those use cases and talking about those real environments and how the problems get solved. That's great. And you showed that with your project here. Up next, AbdulBasit.
So something that I thought Christos would have maybe highlighted. I think he mentioned it in the passing, but let me just mention it again about the project. Let me share my screen. So to get started, or let's say you want to introduce Spinnaker to an audience, but you want to start afresh. So I think just going through the README and following the commands there helps you set up Spinnaker, the whole thing, and even installs Jenkins for you and configures your Kubernetes provider. adds it to the Spinnaker to your Spinnaker deployments. And so I think this is the whole point of like getting something bootstrapped, something that is so easy for you to just follow and get off the ground with. And these are just commands that you can run having a Kubernetes cluster set up already for you. And you would even have, at the end of the day, you would even have a sample pipeline all the way to canary deployments and Prometheus metrics. So that's that so that's it for the demo. So answering your question, so for some time I've been wanting to get into open source and I've never really gotten the opportunity to break through. But this event has really made it easy for me to get started again. And I found the community very welcoming. At least I know my way around the community, and wanting to contribute more, it's going to be much, much easier for me. I hope sometime in the future I am very vast in all the moving parts to the extent that I can also be I can also help out those that are just joining the community too.
Paying it forward. I love it. Awesome. And you disappeared for a second and it made us all wish we were in a time of our lives that we could go on vacation for real. So thanks for that. Thanks for dangling that. Thank you so much for answering my questions and for the demo. Anyone else have any more questions? All right.
Okay, so can I ask anybody on the call that's interested in answering? How else would you like to see a bootstrapped Spinnaker deployment? What else would you like to see added to this? You're going to give a demo and you just want something that will just work. Will this serve, or you would prefer to see something else? You want somebody wants to try his hands at Spinnaker and doesn't want to go through the whole process of deploying all the moving parts, the Jenkins, and getting Prometheus working, think of how to configure Kubernetes. Would this serve, or you would like to see something else added?
Great question. And folks, you can speak up on the mic or you can type into the chat and I'll be your voice. Okay, so Tony Chong says, I'd like to see an easy example of canary deployments. Tony, can you clarify for us a little bit? Does the Prometheus example seem like less easy than what you're seeking? And or like, is there a particular endpoint that you would like to see the metrics coming from? Or can you tell us a little more?
I've tried to do this in my cluster, just based on simple like routing rules and like mesh networking, but like if you've never really done that before, it's a little bit difficult, especially with like, I've been using Spinnaker for a while, but there was a long point of time where I didn't get any, I wasn't updating it. So things like K10 or whatever, like trying to use that stuff is a little bit difficult for me. So if there was like an easy way to just like spin it up and like show that, there would be a lot of value in my organization.
Other thoughts on that on the call, or resources that already exist that I'm not knowing about, or more thoughts on how to improve this resource?
And Ross, anybody that would be interested in jumping in to help with the documentation, that would really be lovely.
Okay, cool. So we're looking for some documentation contribution. I can post that in the Gardening General channel to see if anyone still wants to do that. Oh, looks like Justin Field is following up on the conversation with Tony in the chat, which is okay. Thank you, Justin.
Were you asking, like, I'm sorry, I got confused for a second. I didn't know if the question that Tony was asking was different than the one you were asking, because he asked it in the chat.
Take the floor, Justin. Go ahead.
Oh yeah. No, I was just wondering what Tony was just asking. He'd like to see an easy example of canary deployment. So I was just wondering what he meant by that.
Yeah, just the way that we're like, there's an example pre-set up where there's not a lot of configuration, where there's just, applying a bunch of YAML files or something real simple. For someone that like, I use Halyard to deploy, and like, I don't really configure Spinnaker that deeply, but I want to get more into it. But it's kind of like, it's a little bit of a black box for me, right? Because everything's kind of in a container, right? And so I don't use Spin CLI or any of the tools. So maybe the problem is I need to do that more. I mean, I don't know, right? But I'm trying to get more into Spinnaker, but it's just been a little bit difficult for me. So like,
okay, yeah, I'm gonna think on that a little bit, because there's probably a couple ways to go about that. But
right.
I'm invested in Canary, so I'd like to see more people adopt it. So it'd be cool if there was an easy way for new Spinnaker users to get their hands dirty with it.
Yeah, because like one thing for me is like, I'm not really sure with all the different tools out, like I'm not really sure, what thing reports on the metrics, right? If we're doing something based on that, right? Or like, I don't know, can I do it based on load? Some things like that, right? And so, do I use Prometheus? Do I use this K10 or whatever it's called? How do I configure all of it? Which pieces do I use? And I think it's a little bit challenging for me. I know every shop has their own little, nuances and requirements or whatnot, but, I think I hate to say the general pop on this, but I think, the tools that most people use like Prometheus or some other more popular.
Yeah, I think a hello world example or a hello world, at least I would imagine what would be helpful to me if I was coming into this not knowing anything would be like a medium post that's like, we're going to use Spinnaker, we're going to do hello world with Prometheus and Grafana. And so so that's like all open source, like throw Kubernetes in there too. So we're going to use all these the whole open source stack, and we're going to do like a hello world canary pipeline. That would be it. I think that would be a really neat medium post.
Yeah, and to add to that, there's actually in Miniker already scripts to help you stand up a demo pipeline for canarying. It'll install Prometheus inside of Miniker and create a pipeline in Spinnaker for you.
So that's pretty cool. So maybe the piece that's missing is like, here's a medium post that kind of explains where all these things are and like introduces you to, where all this stuff is hidden.
Am I hearing ideas for community content being shared live? I'm so excited.
Well,
Go
if
ahead.
I figure it out, I don't mind writing that post up. So thank you all for those links. Definitely appreciate it.
And what channel, so there might be folks who watch this later on and are interested in getting involved in this project or want to talk about it. Where can they reach you? Like, is there a channel where we can agree that we're going to talk about this? Or is there an existing channel that someone can pipe up and tell me that's the best place?
Canary, yeah. If anything Canary related should go in Kayenta.
Okay, so that's it's just straight Kayenta channel?
Yeah.
Yes, okay. So hashtag Kayenta and Spinnaker Slack is where you would go to have this conversation, and it sounds like we really want to have that conversation. So we need you to go to the channel and talk about it. And I'll post that in Gardening General after the call. I should be making a list of all the stuff I'm saying I'm going to post because I'll totally forget. All right. Anyone else have wrap-up comments on that? Or does anyone want to do another demo? We have 10 minutes. We have minutes to use. I have a plan, but I'm ready for you to jump in to do a demo if you'd like to. Okay, so So the next thing I wanted to do was give the folks on the call who are going to vote a little bit of time to vote. I shared the link with you if you are a votable person. If you don't have the link and you think you should be votable, ping me and I'll give you the link. But while we are waiting for that, I can just talk a little bit about how we're keeping track of stuff for this project and also talk about plans for next time around. And also we should add that, go ahead.
Sorry, were you waiting for people to volunteer to demo?
I was, and I totally forgot about you, Chris. Oh my gosh, go,
No
go,
worries.
go.
No worries. All right. Do I need to be hosted?
Yes, you do. Oh my gosh, this is sleep deprivation shining through in our moment of triumph on dynamic accounts. So let's make you a co-host, and you can take it away, Chris. And do you have other collaborators who should be co-hosted or who we can call out now?
I do.
Augustus?
Yep, Augustus did a bunch of work with the Terraform as well as just dynamic, or just with helping. And also Ragesh, if I got his name right. And yeah. And
Ramesh, I think.
Ramesh,
Yeah.
thank you. Sorry about that. Sorry about
No,
that.
that's okay. That's okay.
Yeah.
I'm a co-host too.
We can demo real quick. So basically what we did is,
by the way, you have time. We're scheduled till 1:30, so you can go over.
Okay, cool. So what we wanted to do was create a collection of tools using existing features of Spinnaker to allow for adding to dynamic accounts. So Spinnaker has the ability to get dynamic accounts from Vault. So what we did is we created fairly detailed instructions on how to set up Vault and how to install like the Vault Helm, the Vault Helm chart, how to configure the policies, the Vault policies that are required to make all of this work. How to then create the app roles that Vault is needed to make all this work, as well as the tokens that we get out of those for the different purposes. So Vault itself needs to have like read-only access to where this secret is going to exist. Or not Vault, I mean, sorry, Spinnaker needs to have read-only access to where the secret needs to exist. But the thing that's writing the secret really, you know, it needs to have like, you know, read-write privileges to the secret's location. And then when you add a new account from somewhere, it really just needs write-only permissions, right? Because it's going to write under like this intake folder that we have. And so the idea is all this setup, right? There's very simple instructions. When I did it myself, I basically just took each one of these and copied it, took each one of these and copied it. And the idea is that once you get Vault set up, and then you set up Kubernetes authentication with Vault so that the Spinnaker that's running inside Kubernetes can use this Kubernetes authentication. You can then make it so that we're using that to log into the Vault server for the different service accounts that we do. And I don't really need to go into the nitty-gritty technical details of all this because it's all in here. If anybody has any questions about that, I'm happy to dive as deep as needed. But the idea is that once you have the dynamic accounts and the Kubernetes auth configured, then you're going to set up the dynamic account secret. And so we go into the details of that, of where we basically pull it out of the how config and we manipulate the contents of the how config file. And we basically, because Vault only really supports JSON, we have to convert this YAML file into something that'll work for Vault. So when we've got that down here, we see this is what the secret that we're going to store in. It's just the same YAML representation. It's just we store that into Vault, into where we're storing it, into those secret dynamic accounts. And the last step, once that secret exists, is to configure Spinnaker to read from that. So this is an example right here where we're going to basically add to the Spinnaker config file on our Halyard box and wire it up to where our Vault address is. And we give it the Vault token. And this particular Vault token is from the profile that we set up here, where we said, really, Spinnaker itself only needs read permissions of where the secret exists. So once we've done this this how deploy apply and set up, at that point, Spinnaker is now reading the dynamic account information from Vault, and any change to that secret inside Vault will automatically get added into Spinnaker. So the next step we want to do is we want to create a dynamic account pipeline. So we have the pipeline down here that you can basically just copy into where you want to place it. And we see that the pipeline, the way it works is it really just, we've got parameters, right? Where we're going to put the secret, right? The intake secret location. We've got parameters on, any read permissions that we would want to set and any write permissions that we're going to set on the account. So that if I were to kick this off, this pipeline off, it's going to say, hey, where do you want to pull this secret from, right? And what permissions do you want to do? And I can just set a comma separated list of permissions if I want to do a bunch of them, any amount that I want to do. So, and then over here, the secret location is because of the intake that we talked about. So when I say my intake, I see, okay, so I've got new cluster, right? An example. So if I wanted to pull this in, I would go to that pipeline and I would say new cluster. And it would add the new account to the existing secret. And it would add, read permissions of this group plus this group, and it would add write permissions to this group. And it would do the whole thing, and then it would store the final object into the Vault secret location. So the Vault secret location for dynamic accounts is just secret/dynamic account/Spinnaker. And we see here exactly as we have on that homepage. It's very simple. It's just this right here, like 35 lines. Of course, this one is the big font contents is very long here, but you get the idea. So now what this pipeline actually is we've got these parameters that are coming in here, and then the main thing that's doing all the work is this run job manifest over here. And this run job manifest is going to pass in parameters as environment variables, and then those will be run by this image, which we created. Vault, Spinnaker, dynamic accounts. Now this is under my ID, but you get the point. In the repo that we have all of everything that we've built. We've done it all in here, and it's all available for viewing. So the Docker file, it's very simple. It's just based on Docker and Vault and JQ. And we've added like curl in here, and we're copying in the script. And the script is also relatively simple. It's just taking those environment variables. It's using the Kubernetes auth. So it's reading the token from the Kubernetes auth that automatically gets injected into this container when it's running. And then it's using that to log into Vault. And then getting a Vault token, and then using that Vault token to do a Vault login, and then reading the existing secret and then reading the new secret, and then appending, all the details of the new secret onto the existing secret. So it's just 95 lines. It's not very complicated. And what you end up with is this array, this Kubernetes accounts array, gets a new entry added to it. So what we also did in here is we created a secret, a bash script, a bash script for automating this whole process, right? So what I've done is in the Google Cloud Platform, I've created this GKE cluster. I haven't wired up anything. I haven't done anything. But what I have done is it now exists, and I want to make it available. So in the pipeline, we have added an automated trigger for a webhook where now we can just post a curl with the properties of this to this endpoint here. And that is actually one of the last steps that we do over in our example script that we're running, our example onboarding script that I'm about to kick off. The last thing it does is post the intake secret location to that endpoint, which should trigger. So I'm going to go ahead and do the worst thing you could do, and that's a live demo script. So let's see what happens. So I'm going to come over here. I'm going to copy this, and I'm going to paste this in. And we should see, because I already have the configured, the Kubernetes is configured to talk to my new, oh, I knew I forgot something. All right. So we should see pipeline is now running. So what this script did is it logged into that Kubernetes cluster, it created a Kubernetes service account, it gave it cluster role binding permissions for that Kubernetes service account so that Spinnaker can be able to deploy. It then stored that into the intake secret in Vault, and then so that intake secret in Vault now exists in here, and then we kicked off the pipeline telling it where to get that intake secret. And so that now, if I go into Spinnaker, I should see two accounts, and I do. I see one that was set up before, and I see the new one right here. And then if the caching agent has already run, which it has not yet, or this is still looking at cached data. We'll find out in a second. No.
While it's indexing, Chris, is your stuff triggering CloudDriver to reboot? How's it getting the account? Because isn't that loaded at boot time?
So when you enable dynamic accounts, what's actually happening is, so right here, this is actually running a Spring Cloud config server built into Spinnaker itself. When you add this property right here, it adds the Spring Cloud config server. It also ties into the caching agents so that every time they go to do caching, it triggers a refresh to go check and see if there are new changes.
So right? This is features that is built. This is like features that are built into CloudDriver.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah, it's not generic to Spring Cloud config.
Not generic to Spring Cloud config. Correct.
This same sort of paradigm would not work for Kayenta if I wanted to add a new dynamic metrics provider, which works very similar to accounts. It wouldn't work out of the box. You got to go.
Not out of the box. No, you'd have to make some changes and stuff to do. But I mean, it's all Spring Cloud config server, so it's possible. Yeah, so over here, my new still hasn't shown up yet, but the point is it's done. It will show up there eventually once the cache happens and goes through. The other people on the team have seen it, so I know it happens. But yeah, that's pretty much it.
Yeah, does anyone else on the team want to speak up while we wait to potentially see it ourselves, and you can vouch for the fact that it in fact has happened?
Yeah, it happened a lot. We saw when he was coding live, like it was like live session when he explained everything he do and how it works. And when he stuck, we tried to help him. But so yeah, it's all happened with a lot of scripting, fixing, and yeah.
And what I really wanted to focus on with this was the fact that, you know, using just out of the box tools and abilities, like with this run job in here, you can alter like the basic fundamentals of how Spinnaker works in itself, right? So if you want to talk to some internal system and do some actions based on that, you can. If we go in and look the last time this thing ran, and we look at the source on here, which is the execution context, we can see that some of the details that I output in there can be they actually get added onto the execution context, which means it can be used in later stages. It can be pulled in. So you could have a stage, and we started going down this path, you could have a stage that builds the infrastructure using Terraform, using scripts, whatever, and then passes that data to this pipeline that creates the dynamic accounts. And once that's done, you could pass it to another pipeline, pass the details of that to another pipeline that actually, like, you know, creates the, you know, the application in Spinnaker if you wanted to. Like, whatever type of automation that you could possibly want can be done. So try one more thing. Let's see if I can get it to display one last
And
time.
meanwhile, what questions do you have?
We'll do it
In
eventually.
the meantime, I can show maybe Terraform a little bit, so maybe there will be more questions because more people are familiar with it.
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay.
You're a co-host.
Can't see it.
By the way, I just wanted to show because it's here. Come on.
Ooh.
It showed up. There it is.
Yippee!
Yay.
This is so huge for the operations SIG. Like, this literally comes up every meeting pretty much. Like, so
Yep.
This is amazing.
Oh, cool. All right.
Augustus, if you have some stuff to show us in Terraform, I think we have a few minutes. Go ahead.
Yeah, just a quick show how it is. Yeah, so it's a Terraform script who should do the prepare for dynamic environments. It just creates GKA cluster and make service account and no, not this one. Okay, CA. Yeah, this one. So you just Terraform account. This is like I wrote some README file for it, but the key thing is like it's just vault provider, Google, the vault secret. It also it creates service account. Here, service account, and add the cluster roles, and after it just outputs to the secret file, and that secret file are sent to the vault. Yeah, so just Mhm. Okay. Yeah, just entering vault server to know it. And yeah, that's what's that? Mhm. Sorry about that. So yeah, just there's Kubernetes server. There is a secret created. The secret comes from Kubernetes service account from secret file. So this is like a token and just sent to vault. So yeah, that's it from the script. There is more things to do. There need to be modules instead everything on the main file, and it should be more dynamical. Yeah, when there will be with modules, it will be also reusable. That's it from me.
Reusability too. That's awesome. What questions do you have, folks? Okay, folks can still jump in with questions, but in the meantime, Augustus, what's next for you?
I'm not sure. It was a pretty good challenge to use Google Cloud instead of AWS.
Mhm.
And with all the dynamic environment things, pretty great because it's just everything on the go and reusable. I like it. So yeah, I think I will improve my Terraform skills for sure, because this is how infrastructure should be: dynamic. You just spin up when you need and you destroy when you don't need.
Yeah.
This way they use it to do it, and also the Spinnaker to learn about it, because it's so complex. Like this dynamical thing, show you that you can do so much of it, deploy to different clouds. Like pretty great tool and community great. So I like it.
Yeah. Awesome. Awesome. So let's see, I have a couple of other things to mention. For those of you who are voting, please vote. And I am going to grab, I had a couple things that I wanted to say, and I had one up in Slack and then I moved it. So come on, Rosalind, find this thing. I can't find it. Oh yeah, okay. So anyway, while we were in this meeting, I got a, don't say that yet. So the first thing I want to say is, like, as you were talking about what's next for you, Augustus, and you're talking about getting into Spinnaker and understanding, like, it is a very complicated system. So there's a lot to like learn about. And I know a lot of you who are watching this video are like kind of grappling with how much of that process you have time for, and how that's part of like getting into this community. So I just wanted to say, like, do one plug for it's a really good idea to find a SIG that you are interested in, or find a couple of SIGs that talk about stuff that you're interested in, and start engaging in those channels and start showing up to meetings if you can, if it works with your time zone, because that's a really great way to start like slowly learning about the services and all those interactions, because they'll be doing things like issue triage during the meetings, and you should be able to learn and ask questions during those. So that's a great opportunity to learn more, and it's more of like a slow build than an event like Gardening Days. On that note, we are going to do another Gardening Days in October, and I'm super excited. I don't have the dates for you for sure, but I can kind of announce what I'm thinking about for a configuration for the next Gardening Days, which is going to happen in October in advance of the next Spinnaker Summit. The next Spinnaker Summit, of course, is going to be a virtual event, and it's right now slated for October 26th through 28th. And we're playing with what the schedule is, and the Summit SIG will be coming out with more on that soon. But in the meantime, I got some feedback that it would be really helpful from multiple people, that it'd be really helpful to have like a string of weekends to work on these projects. So I'm currently thinking about starting the next Gardening Days on or around October 15th. And then we'll end after the second weekend, right at the beginning of Spinnaker Summit. I think that will work pretty well, and it will give you 2 weekends back to back to work on stuff, and along with a couple of extra days. So if you have additional feedback on the schedule, or like what you want to ask, you can always leave your feedback. You can DM me with feedback, but you can also put your feedback in the Gardening Anonymous channel. There's a lot of different ways to get feedback for this event, which is one thing that I think we should probably tighten up. But if you go into Sketch, which is on spinnaker.io/community/gardening/schedule, you can also vote on there. There's like a happy face, medium face, frowny face that you can vote on for different events that we did. So if you have feedback on specific events, you can put it there. You can put it in the Gardening Anonymous channel, which you can choose whether you want. There's a bot that helps you choose whether you want to be anonymous or not when you give feedback. And there's probably another way to give feedback, but I can't think of it right now. You're welcome to dump your thoughts into Gardening General as well. We'll take your feedback wherever we can get it. And yeah, one other thing that I wanted to talk about while folks are potentially voting is here, and I'll make this really big so you can't see the other crap on my screen. Didn't say crap. Here we go. So I just want to plug this repo that we've put together for this event a little bit, and we do have like more of a sensical way of presenting the information about the event here, and we'll be leveraging this again or something better than this next time. But where I get really excited is this page right here. Make this a little bit bigger. Where I get really excited is this page right here. It's the project ideas page, and this is where I've been mapping what all the teams are working on and the ideas that have come up as part of this event. And we've had a lot of ideas generated just as part of the event. We had another one kind of generated today on this call, so I'll add that to this doc. And PRs are welcome to this. So if you have ideas, however malformed, this is a great place to put them. So PR them here if you have things you would like to work on for the hackathon, or you would like to see other people work on, because this is where folks will start to come and check out what do they want to work on in October. And you'll be hearing from me in probably a month about how we can start to coalesce around those and start planning for October, so that you all can ask for the time off that you need if you need time off, or use it as educational time, or whatever you need to do to make it possible to make yourself successful in the event. I'm going to try to deliver that to you for next time. And please add your ideas here, because I think this is an exciting way to keep track of it. But let me know if you don't think so. You can give me your feedback on that. Was there something else? Oh yeah, the other thing that I wanted to talk about very briefly, I got a ping just while we were in this meeting from someone involved in the CDF who says that some folks at GitHub are looking for people to collaborate on Spinnaker projects with GitHub Actions. So they've got, and this is kind of an informal project with Google that's happening right now. We have some volunteer Googlers who are creating GitHub Actions for GCP properties. And we work with some GitHub folks on roadmap, co-blogging, etc., which means this is an opportunity for professional exposure for you, as well as cool projects to work on. So if you are interested in working on a GCP, GitHub, Actions, Spinnaker, mashup, something, ping in Gardening General or DM me so that we can get you connected with the folks who might want to collaborate with you on that project. There's probably other projects I should be plugging. And nothing is coming to mind right now. I can call out one example of someone using GitHub Actions in this event in kind of a cool way. Also, that's one thing to say. There were a lot of small contributions in this event. There were lots of you like plugging away at it, going and submitting issues about stuff that you noticed, going and like making small changes, but testing those changes in docs to make sure, making small changes in docs, but testing those changes to make sure that they worked. There was a lot of people helping each other out and jumping into other teams. And that's the kind of behavior that is going to make this community strong over time. And I just want you to know, we see those small contributions, we celebrate those small contributions, and we're going to continue to do that because we understand that those build up to the bigger contributions that make the project go. And a small example of one of those, so Sean Sullivan, who I don't think is on the call or isn't anymore, he opened a Kayenta PR, and what it essentially is it's a little security enhancement that uses a GitHub action, a validation action, to protect Kayenta from someone maliciously injecting some code that's wrapped inside of the Gradle wrapper, Gradle wrapper jar. Can I say that? Gradle wrapper jar. So like little things like that are exciting opportunities to contribute and exciting opportunities to see where Spinnaker can intersect with other projects in the SDLC to make your SDLC what the SDLC of your dreams. So yeah, that's one other thing to say. And I think we're almost ready to wrap up here. I'm going to take a look at the responses and see if I have any other responses on my voting. The voting may be somewhat obvious because we don't have a ton of teams that competed today, but that's okay. And we're excited to see what you come up with next. So I'll give like a couple more minutes for folks to vote if they want to. And if you want to vote and you don't have the link, ping me in some sort of Slack for the link. And oh, look, I already got Ige's interested in contributing to the GitHub Action stuff. Heck yeah, I will be in touch with you soon. I have to meet with I think I need to meet with the Google person or talk to them or something, but I'll be in touch with you about that. And anyone else who's interested, please ping me. Oh, nice. I've got Abhilash Nan also on the line, letting me know that he would like to collaborate. Hell yeah, let's see that. Anyone else, or what questions do you have for other folks on the call? This is your time to word vomit whatever you want about Spinnaker live. Just love laughing at my own jokes. It's basically my job. And you know, someone in this event gave me the advice to wait a full 2 minutes after asking a question before saying anything, which number one, I cannot do. Number two, I have given that advice to other people before and I know it's the right thing to do, but I still can't do it. So if you want to talk, you can. And let's see quickly who's on the call. See if we have any other stuff that jogs my memory on things I want people to do or people to say. No, I think we're good. I don't know if anyone who has content that they contributed during this event, if you want to quickly like share some links or show us your content, like that's welcome. I don't want to exclude. That's one other thing that was important about this event. Like contributions are contributions too, and like writing really high quality technical content like really helps a lot. As do things like the Stack Overflow posts that I know a lot of you made. That was super helpful. Like we moved the needle on how many Stack Overflow answers we actually have answered. So that's really important to me. Thank you for that. Dance time. Can't be quiet without dancing. Okay. Do 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 do. I'm waiting one more minute. Oh, if you live in the United States, don't forget to vote. It's a ways away. I can tell you that at the next gardening days too. Hell yeah. All right. I think I'm ready to announce a couple of winners. What do we think? Yeah. So for the first prize in the plugins challenge category, the winner is clear. The MS Teams notifications plugin team, you have taken away the first prize, $150 on Amazon that you can divide amongst yourselves. I will help you divide it amongst yourselves. I will reach out to you in the team channel to talk about that. And you also all have your individual contribution points that you bring with you, and you'll receive your prizes for that. For the second prize in the plugins challenge category, even though we didn't have a demo from the Nomad team, Chris Baker of the Nomad team did come onto this call and I think was available, but like it's a little hard. People are reticent to demo things that aren't finished, and I understand that. And then he had to jump onto another meeting, but he actually did receive a couple of nominations from folks who voted for second prize in the plugins challenge category. So what the hell? Let's give Chris Baker and anyone else who worked on the Nomad team a prize for working on that, because we know they're going to continue to work on that plugin, and we're very excited about this collaboration with HashiCorp. Yeah, see, I'm God in this scenario. Isn't it great? Which team deserves first prize in the Retrofit 500? So this is a challenge category that I created and then thought more about and thought, that's not a very good challenge category, but it's a good name, which actually came from Perry Kyle of Snap. The Retrofit 500 challenge category, it was originally slated to include folks who were fixing 500 errors, but we didn't really have people who came into the event and like had 500 errors that they have noticed and wanted to work on. By the way, if you're watching this video and you do have a 500 error that you want to work on, let's work on it in the next hackathon. So ping me about it. But I decided to expand this project category to use it as a general catch-all for project maintenance. And I think there is a clear winner in the Retrofit 500 challenge category, someone who did some really important maintenance on the Spin CLI that no one else in the project has been doing, and that is very valuable to us all and all folks using the Spin CLI. So I want to congratulate gardening team Josephine Garris, is that the way to say it, for this achievement. You have won first prize in the Retrofit 500 challenge category. Yay, yay, yay. And look for those 500 errors, folks. We don't have a second prize in Retrofit 500 unless someone wants to make their case in the next 30 seconds. And I won't be quiet during that time, so you have to talk over me. Automate your SDLC. I think that the deserving winner in that category is definitely, who is it? Who do you think? It's Team Autobots. So that's AbdulBasit and Christos. You created something to help other folks learn how to automate their SDLCs. It's still in progress, but you demoed it today. You did so proudly, and we're proud of you. So you are the first prize winner of the Automate Your SDLC Challenge. And we don't have a second prize winner of that. So even better. I thought about the possibility of giving you both prizes, but I'm not going to do that. You have to wait until October and do a better project. Now, the last challenge category is the SIG challenge category. Now, we did have a project that was started by the security SIG, but through the course of the week, we kind of figured out that they didn't have all the pre-work done that they needed to do in order to create the threat models that they were hoping to create. So that is a project. I would stay tuned for another more robust security project that was easier to jump into and has the pre-work done in October. Better yet, start showing up to the security SIG and help them. They need help. I know CVs are kind of boring, but they're super important, and the security SIG is doing some big work on that. It's very exciting. It would be a great thing to put on your resume, so please join them. Without further ado, who won the SIG challenge? The OpSig! Woo woo! Yay, OpSig! So go, Chris. And that was Chris, Ramesh, Augustus, and who am I forgetting? Who am I forgetting? Help me. Help me. Is it Victor? No, worked on the plugin. Is it just those three? Yeah? Okay, cool. So the three of you. So I will be in touch in the team channel about your prize. And it is now 1:30. I have talked my rear off for a week, and you have listened. And I've been so grateful for you for allowing me to welcome you into the community and showing me that I have a formula to help you contribute, to help you get the resources you need to become part of this community. And I can't wait to see where that goes in the future. Join me in October, or don't wait until then. Join your favorite SIG, become a contributor. It's worth it. And there will be more ways to make it worth it in the future. Stay tuned. anyone have any questions or comments, you can throw them in now, but I'm about to head out. My weekend starts now.
Yeah, Rosalind, I just want to thank you just coordinating all this big event, looking for the schedule, making a meeting, staying in the meeting room for everyone who needs a question, answering them all the time, like making ideas clear. If they need help, you just go to the channels, ask people for help. Like, you did pretty great job, like coordinating for people who need help, who just confused with every question needed. I knew that I can write you and you give me correct the direction. So yeah, thank you.
Thank you. So happy to hear that my intentions are borne out, and big thanks to folks at Armory, Google, and Netflix who stepped in to help as on-call gardeners to help with those questions that I just don't have the applied Spinnaker experience to answer. And one last thing before the call is over, and some people are gone, but I should announce the winners of the individual prizes too. So I'll just quickly go down the list and name everybody who made a contribution so that you get your moment in the sun for folks watching this video. So we have Chini, who we've already talked about. She's in first place. Then we had Asif Sheikh. We had Stephanie Lee. I think it's Stephanie Lee. We had Ige Temitayo. I will learn how to say his name when we work together. We have Andres Leon Rangel. I think I know how to say his name, but I'm not sure. We have AbdulBasit Kabir, who you heard from today. We have Chris Gruhl, our wonderful OPSIG co-founder. We have Abalash Nan, who's excited to work on GitHub Actions. We have Christos Arvanitis, who I believe is going to be joining Armory soon. We have Augustus Verbikas, who gave me some very nice feedback just a minute ago and is going to learn more Spinnaker. We have Ramesh. We have Carl Skews, who joined late from New Zealand and is a really helpful person in Spinnaker Slack. If you've asked a question in Spinnaker Slack, chances are he's answered it. There's Victor Odusanya, who's a GSOC competitor for Spinnaker right now. There's DeWitt Gibson, who wrote a really cool blog post and posted on LinkedIn about this event. There's Surud, who has a really good idea that I think will work on next time, and I put it in the project ideas thing, so look for it there. It's about a Helm templating library. There's Moki Daniel, another GSOC competitor. There's Catherine Lewis, an on-call gardener. Prafala Koteka, Sean Sullivan, who I talked about a few moments ago. Carlos Moreno, another late ad, hoping to see you on the new Spinnaker contributors list on DevStats. And there is Christopher Rung, who created our party Spinnaker emoji. Thank you so much. And finally, there's Robert Reed. I don't know how to say your name, so I'm not going to. There's Robert. You did fill out a survey, so you got 1 point. And there's also Justin Schumann, who hopefully will be joining for the next Spinnaker Gardening Days to work on the plugin project that didn't quite make it this time. All right, that concludes Spinnaker Gardening Days. Love you all. See you soon next time. Ping me on Slack. Goodbye.